Hey everyone, Kel with BluePrint Engines bringing you an update on our CNC line. Now everyone checked in right before the new year. I wanted to bring you an update of where we are now. So Justin here with Productivity is going to walk us through the process. He's a specialist. Their company specializes in setting up CNC machines and then maintaining them. So Justin, we were just talking and you actually told me this is about the 4th time you've been here. So you did the original CNC line.
Yep.
And then you did our second new CNC line, which is actually, Edgar, if you want to pan over, you can see everyone, we're still actively machining blocks. So our second line is still going. And then we upgraded the first line, and then this is a complete replacement of the first line, correct? Yep. So this is actually like generation 4 of the CNC process for BluePrint engines.
Correct, yeah. So the 5 oldest machines are gone and we've replaced them with 4 brand new ones now. And those 4 new ones should do everything and more that those older ones were capable of.
And what's nice on this transition is my understanding is actually all the programming and everything on the existing line will just transfer over because they're the same machines.
Exactly, yep. And each one is set up so specifically and so accurately that they could put any pallet in any machine and run the same part. So they're all identical within a few microns of each other. So the automation can feed any machine, any block, and it can do whatever process.
So did you guys pick up on that? He just said they're accurate within a few microns. So that's all of these machines. That's why it takes a while to set them up. A few microns is actually narrower than a human hair, correct?
By far, yeah. Micron's about 1,000th of a millimeter.
Yeah,
or exactly
thousandths of a millimeter. And these things weigh 44,000 pounds. So it's not like you just shove them into place, okay?
Correct,
So
yeah.
we have our line already going. Second line's getting on board. We bring Justin in. He works alongside with our team. These guys are gonna get this up and going as quickly as possible. But Justin, why don't you run me through like what step we're currently at?
Sure, so the riggers have got all these machines placed within a couple of inches of their final resting spot, or at least the main body of the CNC.
So this is in general where they're gonna stay, and then you get them accurate from there.
We'll fine tune them, yeah, because the machine will be level. And again, back to accuracy, our levels will do 2 10,000ths of an inch over a foot of level. So, or we'll shoot for 0, of course, but that's the accuracy that they're capable of.
Lots of lasers, right?
No, it's actually not. It's just like a small electronic level.
Okay.
But they're very, very accurate.
Okay.
And even bubble levels, the machinist bubble levels can do half a thou over a foot. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
All right, so we get them roughly in place, very, very close, fine tune, and then what would be next? I know some of the panels are off. I think you had to change some of the configurations, right? Since it's on a track?
Yes, so when the machines arrived, they had doors for the operators if it was a standalone machine.
Okay.
Since these are on an automation system, that all has to come off. That way the vehicle can feed the parts and the pallets into the machine and then pick them back up when they're done. So all the doors and stuff come off, and
which is also why they have to all be aligned correctly, right? Because it's all automated, it's on a track, they're being loaded, automated, or
so the machine has got to be square to the automation rail within a 1/2 millimeter over a long distance. That way it picks up and drops off correctly.
Awesome. And then I see some new equipment right over here.
Yep.
Let's go explain what these are, and well, since we're here, touch on this. I've never seen one of these open before.
Sure. So you're looking at the back side of the machine now. X and Y axis would be where is what's handled on this part of it. You can see the back of the spindle in there. That's the part that turns the tool and does the cutting. So all your machining happens in this part of the machine, and then this long part is the tool storage, the tool magazine we call it. And so that will actually, once the body of the machine is placed where it goes and square, then we anchor that to the floor, and then we start bringing all the other components of the machine together. So the magazine will slide over.
Okay.
You can see a part hanging off that side that transfers tools from the magazine to the machine.
Edgar, come show them this. So this whole thing will actually sit flush.
It's going to be, yeah, about 3 foot this way.
Attached.
Yep, it'll move in. That's all got to be dialed in very accurately as well, so it'll transfer tools between the two parts of the machine.
So on some of our other videos, we'll show the actual inside the CNC, and then you see it change tools.
Yep.
So if anyone's seen those videos, here's what Justin's talking about, where it literally will slide. It will grab another tool off the bank and switch it out. So it's really, I think it's awesome to see this all wide open and actually see all the moving parts.
Yep, it's almost like 2 or 3 machines coming together to form one in a way. So
just being more automated, right? Because like you talked about earlier, some of these are standalone where you're loading one piece at a time.
Yep, and they'll all have some form of magazine. This particular magazine holds 187 tools. The ones on the other line hold 299, and there's everything in between, less and more than that. So there's many configurations in the Makino line based on your machining needs and how many tools you need to have. These just work out good for you guys. You can have some redundant tools in there. And on an automation system, when a tool wears out, it can retire that tool and grab the next one that's redundant and keep the process moving.
So it'll literally have a spare one, and it will know, hey, this one's worn out and we need to grab the new one.
Correct, yep.
That's amazing.
Each tool that comes into the machine, it has a picture taken of it, and it can tell if a part's broken off or if it's gotten too long or too short. So there's a ton of fail-safes built into this that can keep the line operating or shut it down before something bad happens.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's one thing a lot of people I don't think understand. So BluePrint Engines is a manufacturing facility. So everything's down to cycle time. We know exactly how long it should take to get from point A to point Z, from start to finish. And a lot of what you're discussing is that automation, the fail-safe. Everything is structured to keep the line going so that we can get the engine built with the most reliability, the most consistency, at the lowest cost, and get it to our customer as quickly as possible.
Correct, yep. And with the automation system, once pallets are preloaded into the racking, then that system can run lights out in off times or off hours.
Yeah.
Which is a huge benefit for you guys.
And we're able to do it, we're in central Nebraska, we're in a smaller town. Sourcing, employees has been a challenge.
Yep.
So by automating some of this, like you're talking about, we can have one individual loading 4 different machines because there's a engine block waiting. So once it's done with one cycle, it removes it. It has another one waiting to go. There's no downtime.
Correct.
And that operator can have blocks ready to go, and then like you said, we can run them 24/7.
Yep, and then as labor and time allows, they can bring the finished ones back over to the workset station, take that one off, put the next raw casting on there, or the next operation.
And that operator is still checking for accuracy when it's done, correct?
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. Well, touching on these a little, now let's go over to this. These, I didn't even know what they were at first.
Yep. Another part of the machine. This handles the coolant that keeps the cutting operations cool, and then evacuates chips out of the machine. Of course, I think your small blocks lose like 80 pounds or.
Yeah, I'm told small blocks 50, big blocks 80. And one thing I didn't even realize when we first started doing this is this machine actually extracts the coolant and just produces dry chips, correct?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
It does some filtering and some other things too. Cast iron's kind of a dirty product to machine.
Yeah.
And so a lot of filtration happens here. And this will all integrate into the back of the machines as well, similar to the other line over there.
And just like we talked about, 3 machines coming together, another 4th machine coming together, all to accomplish one task.
And there's quite a bit of ancillary equipment that goes into these because you have transformers that get your voltages correct. You have the chip and the coolant handling in this. There's oil chillers to keep the spindle the same temperature as the casting, and the same thing with the coolant. There's actually a chiller, and they monitor the casting temperature, and then that helps keep the coolant the same temperature as the casting for thermal stability. Okay. And that helps with the accuracy.
Yeah, more consistency, right?
Absolutely.
As the block heats up, it expands. As it cools, it
And the
shrinks.
cutters and the
So we want to
tooling.
keep a consistent temperature that then we know the tooling and the cutting is all accurate to that temperature.
Yep. And with the Makinos, they even cool the ball screws. So as you have mechanical friction moving those parts of the machine around, that also pulls heat out of that and helps keep all of those temperatures consistent.
That's why we got guys like you, because this is so far over my head. But I love that you're educating us and we're educating our customers on what all entails in taking a block from a raw casting to a finished product.
Yep.
And then another thing I wanted to touch on the chippers is all those shavings then we go and recycle.
Recycle, yep.
The coolant, since it's been able to clean, we're able to reuse the coolant and get longer use out of it. So,
Yep, absolutely.
So a lot of stuff we're doing to make sure we're being as green as possible also.
Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
what else can you show us?
We can walk around the front if you want, and
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
show you the way we square things. It's all pretty simple tools for the most part. Let's see, my jig is on. Let's walk down to this first machine here.
All right.
Sorry about the labyrinth of stuff.
Edgar, watch your step.
So it's very simple, plumb bobs and a simple jig. The pallet here is what the block will actually come into on a fixture. And so this has got to be perfectly square to the automation side of things. So a jig and a few plumb bobs and some marks on the floor, and then we'll level the machine, push it closer. As it moves across the floor, the level changes slightly, so we level it again, we push it a little further, we level it again, we push it a little further, and that process continues until those are parallel to our layout lines, and we'll know then that that's parallel to the vehicle running down the rail here for the automation.
I love the complexity of the CNC machine
And the simplicity of a plumb bob. Yep. And through all of this installation, plumb bobs are used throughout to level things.
And this is the track system that we were talking about.
There's a lot of stuff that's just kind of leaned up and so it'll look much
So safety
cleaner.
wise, everything's enclosed. Any of the automation throughout the entire plant has full fencing around it to keep all the employees safe. There's all sorts of fail safes. If anyone was to breach those areas, it gets picked up on a laser and then it shuts the whole thing down.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about a vehicle that weighs probably 6,500 pounds traveling down the track. You're not stopping that.
yeah.
So safety's paramount. There's a lot of interlocks and fail safes.
So this whole area we're in right now, the whole power's shut off. Nothing here can get turned online. It's all locked out, tagged out.
Yep, absolutely.
But that's why we're able to be back here now. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to show us everything. I know we're going to do some more videos. Jokingly, we were talking earlier, you've spent about 9 months total working here with us during the 4 different variations or upgrades of CNC equipment.
Yep.
I was telling you, with me being on the road as much as I am at all the different shows, that I think you might be here more than me. So if you need an office, it's up there. It's empty quite a bit, but
that'll work.
We look forward to it, and thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.